We're cutting short that presentation. Starting with the valedictory session for today. An important aspect of Viksit Bharat is self-reliance or Atmanirbharta, especially in the technology domain. Let us now explore how India can operationalize design-to-manufacture capabilities to strengthen self-reliance across electronic components, infrastructure equipment, and security systems. To share insights with us, we have a very special guest. May I now invite our fireside chat guest on stage. We have Mr. Avneet Singh Marwa, CEO, Superplastronics. Can I please invite you on stage, please, sir? And we have a round of applause for him. And joining the session is Mr. Pradeep Gupta, Chairman, Cyber Media Group. Over to both of you.
Hello. 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 Yeah. Okay. So first, may I request everybody to kindly move towards the front. There are now fewer people here, but if you can just move to the front, that will be really nice so that we can at least see you folks. Okay, so, in the morning I had mentioned about the changing scenario as far as manufacturing is concerned. And I was just talking to Avneet as we were walking in. He said that the status of manufacturing today is something that we could not have believed could have been possible in just before COVID. So if you cut back to 2020, and if you sort of imagine what was manufacturing at that time and what is manufacturing today, it is absolutely a completely changed sort of a scenario. And some statistics, the total manufacturing now is almost about 11 trillion rupees. Okay. So trillion also is equivalent to the lakh crores, so 11 lakh crores. So that is the amount of manufacturing which is happening today in India. 50% of this is actually related to our industry, which is the mobile phones, right? So that's a huge sort of a chunk which is there, and 60% of that is actually getting exported. And if you recall that earlier when Pankaj from ICE was here, he said that a large amount of phones that now sell in the US are actually manufactured here in India. The target which is there is that by 2030, this 11 trillion will become 50 trillion. Right, so you are talking of almost about a 30%, more than 30% CAGR growth in the next few years. Yes, the value add is still low, but I think there are lots of things which are being done in that area. The PIL scheme, the ECMS schemes have really made a huge amount of difference. And to talk about all of these, I have Avneet here with me today. So Avneet, where do we go from here when you look at the current situation and what do you see as the future?
So good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's been an honor to be over here. I think you've really summated well that how we are in manufacturing, especially in consumer durable and telecom in India. I think 2 decades back, we were not considered as a manufacturing nation, and about a decade back, we just started manufacturing. I think it was a rebirth of manufacturing. 90s were core manufacturing that was happening. Late 80s, we were manufacturing. There was some public sector and private sector, but because of the difficulty, I think the whole game changed for us in electronics was the WTA signature that happened. I think that was really disappointing. The whole narrative changed, and how especially China got really big advantage.
Yeah, it actually resulted into disinvestment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's how the biggest difference was the duties. Manufacturing in India was expensive than importing products from China. And I think that's where a lot of operations were shut down in India. A lot of MSMEs and small scale had to route to other countries. And, we, from manufacturing, we started trading. And to get that narrative back, it was very difficult. I think the mindset, the entrepreneurs which were working back then was 35, 40. By the time this narrative started, it was 60. They were the biggest, cash cows in India that could take decision whether to have manufacturing in India or we still should do trading. 15 years, they've seen how China been very competitive. To change their mindset was very difficult, to be honest. And all of these are board members or chairmen and VPs of the organization. That narrative to change, it took us about a decade. And blessing in disguise, we got COVID, and that's when everyone in the country realized that we are absolutely dependent in terms of, if I say, your core screen, where everybody was dependent, whether it is, school, your office, all your OTTs, local consumption, cereals were not.
Yeah, ICT was the backbone of that entire thing, because during COVID, otherwise you couldn't communicate until and unless that was there.
So, absolutely. And that's when everybody realized that, we don't do anything of it. And for everything, we're just dependent.
Well, I think the industry also, a lot of thing about earlier, of course, the Make in India, but more than that, product nation, that sort of, again and again, the telecom associations, the electronic associations, all of them would started talking about product nation, and today that is sort of becoming a reality.
Yeah, that's what happened with Indian brands, because they were so focused on product, they were not focused on technology. And meanwhile, these guys who were making for them, they were so focused in technology, and their vision was about 10, 15 years down the line. And we were just focused on product and technology at that time, because we were not investing in any R&D. Today, I think that is completely changing. Any brand, especially if they are not looking towards R&D, it's a very short-term plan. And I know a lot of brands which have good amount of equity or good amount of investments that have taken place, some have gone public. But I feel it's a very short-term game if you're not putting your cards on R&D and vision, because technology is changing really fast. Before we just started, I just saw Starlink. So one of my corporate offices in Okhla, by the way. In Okhla, it was the Airtel's head office before going to Kutab and then Gurgaon. I don't get proper 5G connection today also in phase 2. It's for 8,000 bucks.
Right.
I will just change it. Okay, and there are so many of us. I'm talking about heart of Delhi. Same way, one of our manufacturing plant is in phase 2. There is no fiber till today. But one of our plants are just opposite to Samsung, by the way. I will just have a cyber link. That's the best option I have today. So technology is changing really fast. If you're not seeing that sort of a vision, it's very difficult to survive in a country like India.
Wonderful. So, let's move down from product to, the first the OEM manufacturing, and then let's come to components, and then let's come to the chip part. Okay, let's go in that sort of a direction. So, what sort of things you see to increase the value add which is currently happening in India?
See, we are at the right direction. That OEM, ODM part has started about a couple of years back. Now it's all on value addition that needs to take care. We have selected those raw materials where the investments are not high. For example, lens, camera mode, casing, all these in telecom, in smart...
Display continues to, anything to do with the...
Display has its own story actually.
Okay.
So if I'll tell you, I don't know whether any telecom guys have told you this about display. It's a very interesting thing. Samsung has its own display in India. And Samsung is one of the pioneer of displays. They don't do large displays, they only do very expensive displays. So that they have. The other display where the PLI scheme came in with chipsets about $2 billion, the company which was very much interested, given that's what in my small capacity, what I know in my personal capacity is 3 to 4 times they negotiated with the government in all 3 different places in India where they wanted more in terms of rebates, etc. And that project could not go. If that would have been done, it was 30 to 40% of display would have been done in India. So that is about 70%, whether you take any display electronics. So we missed that bus, about 2 years back. Today, the competition is so high and the investment is huge for display. Apart from doing, a top display where, you just, the film of the display and the glass, that's bonding. So that will start next year, probably with a couple of manufacturers. But apart from that, it's a $3 to $4 billion investment straight. So, and that was possible about 2 to 3 years back. There was a organization which was very much interested, but due to there could not have been, the commitment were completely failed couple of times, so that did not work out. In terms of chipset, that is another 20 to 30%. Currently, it is more because of the memory prices.
Right.
So I think if I talk about chipset, very bold move by Tata. I think in next 2 years, 27, 28, first phase of the factory will start. It's concentrating currently on EVs. And some computer parts where they want to start with. I think it's a very bold and big move, and then that's where they will make, and the cutting will happen in Assam.
So, somebody in the morning said that what we are doing in terms of chipsets and so on is still the coolie work.
No, I don't think that is not the coolie work. The Tata plant is not coolie work.
Okay.
That is the core product, the core raw material that we'll be sourcing. Initially, it will be coolie, but I think by end of 29 or early 2030, I think we'll be completely manufacturing semiconductor.
No, but that's right. That has to be the direction. Let's say software export also. We started with the coolie work, but then we moved up the value chain. And therefore, what all needs to be done in terms of, improving the value add as far as manufacturing in India is concerned?
I feel that smaller components is very, very important, localization of smaller components. I think that's where the investments are low and competition is very high.
But recently there was this 40,000 crores, worth of investment to be made into, and Ashwini Vaishnaw handed out the whatever PLI checks to various people, and I think all the Dixon and Deki and companies like yours are all now getting into components as well. So
Yeah, I think that's a beginning. I would say, that's a beginning. I think there's a lot more in components, and it's just a starting. I think it's not even 4 to 5% right now, and it's a huge milestone that we need to cover. And the kind of competition that you have in these small components. So the mindset over here, that's what I feel, that a lot of entrepreneurs do not want to come into component manufacturing. And that's why there is an edge. It's completely volumetric. The kind of production that China has it versus if you want to have your own, there is a huge difference today as well. But I feel we can match that if we have that kind of volumetric and that kind of focus is there. We've seen in couple of major components. I think for somebody the other day asked me, a young, a college student, I was there, he said, why can't we have HDMI? Manufactured in the port HDMI and USB. So I knew, but I just rechecked the kind of pricing doing in India versus the kind of pricing that you're there in China. There is a lot of difference, but it is possible, but the volumes are huge. Core component, again I'm telling you, more skilled components, the labor is becoming very expensive in China. We have that advantage today also. We should focus on some core components. Value addition is changing every year, but for electronics, two major components that contributes about 80%. One is display, one is chipset. We have solved for chipset. Display still, we are doing bonding. I think if next year or there's some other PLI additional scheme that comes in and some big giants starts thinking of putting a display, I think that's where we solve about 80 to 90%.
And is the manufacturing technology also moving up? What I mean is that, China has been innovating continuously in this area. So you now even have more of automation, more robotic manufacturing, dark factories, and so on. So do you think?
In terms of manufacturing, yes, there is a lot of disruption happening, but at product size, I'll not, I'll little bit disagree because a lot of disruption is not happening.
Okay.
Whether it's mobiles, whether it's laptop, whether it is smart TVs, I feel that after having for example, we start with TV, we have voice assistant that is equivalent to AI. You can ask anything, the software will tell you. I think, and then we had the latest technology, OLEDs, and then 4Ks and 8Ks, and now there's a transparent TV. So there has not been a lot of disruption that has happened. Same with phone, Fold has come. China 3-fold, Samsung just launched the 3-fold. I think now I'm getting this news that Apple will have Fold, but Fold is already, Samsung launched, I think 6 or 7 Fold. So it's that disruption is also over. I feel that we need some new disruption to happen. That is not happening at the product size. Therefore, the markets are becoming very stagnant across the globe. So it's a very big, and
Sure. No, so, 2047 is still long time away. Where do you see manufacturing in India in 2035?
so who brought this 2047?
No, the Viksit Bharat,
Who bought it? The PM bought it.
The PM
will, I don't know
100 years of
whether,
India.
But I don't know whether he'll be there by 47, but he creates that kind of milestone, becomes very difficult. I think we don't know about 47, but 35 looks pretty good. The kind of work that has happened on infrastructure, that is happening. We need that kind of infrastructure if we need that kind of manufacturing.
Right.
12, logistic, if we say it's one of the most expensive for any developing nation. So all these small basic fundamentals we need to really solve first if we want to be in that part of Viksit Bharat. Plus, I would mention over here policy making. I think very, very important. Ease of doing business, everybody talks about. I think it's still very difficult. Getting today, if you talk about getting a GST number, is a task. Till today, by the way. It's not that you just go and then you go. And I'm talking about states like Gujarat also. is covered in that, and this is my personal experience. So ease of business have to look upon seriously. There have been major improvement. There have been on ground level, people say faceless. I think there are a lot of gray area and faceless as well. That needs to be tackled quickly. I think whatever decision making is happening and whatever tech side of it, things are evolving, we need to, see and review again and again. That, for saying, I think it's more for pleasing people rather adapting to it. So we need to adapt more.
So my last question to you. To see that vision, one of the things you said is ease of business. But what would be 4 other recommendations that you would like to give to the policymakers?
First is stable government, number one. Second is, apart from policy making, is infrastructure. The closures of infrastructure. We have opened a lot of projects in infrastructure. We need to have right sort of closure. I have not seen personally, because I see a lot of infrastructure, any closure being on time. So
You mean the roads and ports and
Absolutely,
airports and so on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
then bureaucracy, very, very important. I think that's where, from billionaires to millionaires, what I'm hearing in India, from Indian entrepreneurs, it's a big challenge. And this has come from one of the top leaders in India, that they're not, if any entrepreneur is growing or any organization is making good amount of profit, I think the bureaucrats of the country is not very happy about that. So that mindset needs to be changed. This is very common, and in my short career, I've realized that time and again this has happened. The more you do, I think there is more notices that bound to come. So that needs to improve. And fourth, of course, mindset. I think the kind of narrative building that has happened for years, I think that has changed, but if I would say 90%, it will take some time. So I think exposure to the globe exposure globally for Indian is very less compared to China. They export to more than 200 countries. Smallest of products, they know countries where you have never even heard of. I think that exposure is very much needed. I always say that India is less, maybe your social media, etc. is really high. Your Gen Z is completely changing the trend, but globally your exposure is low.
So you have doubled over the last year, nearly 1,000 crores now. Where do you see yourself, 5 years from today? What sort of number?
So the vision of the company is very straight, that we want to be one of the best top brands in the consumer durable industry, as well as manufacturing is our core. That's what we're doing from last 30 years. So we'll keep on doing backward integration, localization, and we want to transform that to consumers.
Number?
Number is very difficult right now, but that's the vision. Plus, we have just added OEM business because what we were doing, because we are adding more plants, and that's where it's what we have seen globally, that any organization which is doing OEM and brand is very lethal. So I think for that footsteps we are doing, and we want to add exports. I think that, as I told you, exposure.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you very much, Avneet Marwah.
Thank you,
It
sir.
was
Thank
really
you.
an interesting
Pleasure talking to you,
conversation.
sir.
And
Thank you so
thank you very much for giving the directions of what to do.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. A small token of appreciation from Cyber Media. Thank you so much. And to form